Welcome to MTG Ectoplasm, your home for Spirit Tribal and Magic the Gathering. I'm your host, Dwight, aka DiBlanco, a medium that wears an extra, extra large. You can reach out to me on Twitter at MTG Ectoplasm, or you can email me directly at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com. Like I ask each and every single episode, hit that follow, like, subscribe button. It could be up here or over there, down here. I don't know where it is because you could be streaming right now live on YouTube, or if not on Twitch, or if you're listening to this podcast right now, you could be listening on, let's say, Spotify or Google or Apple Podcast, where I'm saying thank you, but please hit that follow, like, subscribe button. It means a lot. And it lets you know when the latest and greatest show comes up. Also, remember, this is a free show. I'm not charging you a dime, a nickel, a ruby, an inti, a peso. Hell, I'm not even charging you a ruble, which I won't go there. But I'm just saying, not charging you anything just because of the fact of gas prices. And I'm a friendly guy. Look at this face. So remember to share this with your friends and family about this show because it's Magic the Gathering content. And I'm talking about spirits, so you can't beat that. Now, like I do each and every single episode, I want to introduce the driver of the show, the engineer, the one, the only, the ravishing Renata. How you doing, ravishing? Oh, oops! I had you. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm doing quite well.
Oh, there you go. So, do you think this is going to be a great episode?
I think this is going to be an awesome episode.
Well, see, she's excited, ladies and gentlemen. She's jovial. She's giddy. So let's get this thing started, shall we? Well, before we bring in our special guest, because we do have a special guest in the house, we got to talk about the sponsor. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I got a sponsor here, and it's Greg's Games. That's right, Greg's Games at 2103 White Horse, Mercerville Road, Hamilton, New Jersey, 08619. That's right, Greg's Games. Let me just tell you, I love this place. It's he started off small and he expanded it because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, he does Magic the Gathering, he does Pokemon, he does Yu-Gi-Oh, he does tabletop games like Warhammer and Dungeons and Dragons, and he has just a plethora of games. It's a moral, just a moral imperative just to go there. He has games galore and they're playing live. So if you're into Magic the Gathering, ladies and gentlemen, they got Modern, they got Pioneer, they got Standard, they got Commander, they got anything and everything. So if you're in that Trenton area, or if you're in Philly and you want to come over, or if you're in New York or Baltimore, hey, we're in the middle of everywhere, bro. Come on, or sis, shall I say? So come on, check out Greg's Games, 2103 White Horse, Mercerville Road, Hamilton, New Jersey, 08619. Now that the pleasantries are over, said and done with, then we said hello to the ravishing one, right? Ravishing? There you go. She's nodding her head. And you know a little bit about me. I'm going to bring in my special guest. This individual has been with me almost a full year now. He is the moderator for the spirit community on the Discord group. He has a lot of insight. He shared a lot of knowledge with us, and I'm actually very happy to bring him back onto the show. He is available at Dr. Katz 11 on Twitter. He also is available on Twitch, as it is at Dr. Katz XI, which is also 11 in Roman numerals. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to bring on the one, the only, the incomparable Dr. Katz. Welcome to the show, Dr. Katz. How are we feeling there, my friend? And you got him on mute.
Feeling pretty good, Dwight. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it. Looking forward to talking a lot about Modern, maybe a little bit about Pioneer, the recent banning we've had. I know you had D-Star on recently, talked about the Urian list. I'd love to talk about that a little bit too. So looking forward to it.
So I'm glad you keep in, track of the show. I'm one of these individuals. I not only do I talk the spirit game, I make sure the guys who play the game come to the show because I love them to give the insight. I had, like you said, D-Star, based out of Sweden. He's the individual who engineered the Urian spirit deck. And then I had also Andre Scara, the Spirit Master, come on the show. He shared his insight, and especially on the Urian deck. And I, eventually, I did write down a couple of questions about this Urian deck for you as well. So
Sure.
before we begin, Dr. Katz, what's going on with you? Share it with the spirit community what you've been doing, and since we haven't heard from you since last set.
It's been a while, yeah, actually. So somewhat unfortunately, I feel like I know you mentioned this when you had Dre on the show with you, but we didn't get a lot of good spirits, these past few sets. We got a couple that I think are worth mentioning, but we've had other upgrades. Some new lands I want to talk about from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. And we had a spirits make top 8 in a challenge, which is promising in my opinion.
You
Um,
can't beat that. The gentleman hit top 5 with a build
I
that
know
no one saw coming. No one saw
exactly.
coming.
We didn't see any merfolk in top 8 recently, so just saying.
Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah,
Wow.
right out of the gate.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Basically what Dr. Katz is saying, if you're more folk player, we do love you, but there you go. There you go. I'm just gonna leave it there. But if you're a Merfolk player, we still love you. You still play tribal. Come to our side.
absolutely.
Come to the real side. Come to the
Leave the waters and come to the graveyard.
everybody likes heroes, but everybody enjoys the villains. Let's just say
Absolutely,
it that way.
absolutely.
So, Dr. Katz, let me begin by saying, you know what? There was a banning. There was a huge banning, a monster shakeup. It was like a snow globe, like blah, 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 right?
Hmm.
I have to ask. I'm gonna sit there and throw it out to you. Me personally, I'm actually happy, but was what was your thought of the Loris banning, and was it necessary?
Well, I think it was necessary. My brother would be inclined to disagree with me because he likes to play Shadow, Prowess, and all the great decks that Laris was in and kind of took advantage of. But I think it was a good banning. I think without Laris, a lot of these grindy, red based, red black, mid rangey decks are easier for us to deal with now. It was definitely frustrating, like you get into a top deck war with your opponent, you're both out of resources, they kill all your spirits, you're both kind of struggling, and you draw a Queller. You're like, this is great. Let me just hold that up. Pass to the opponent. They're just like, I'm just going to Laris to my hand. I'm not going to do anything. And now you're like, oh, well, I guess I won't do anything either. I'll hold that Queller for Laris, but then they drew a removal spell. So it makes the deck in a better position. I've been playing a little bit of Modern since the ban, not a lot yet, but I'm kind of focusing on getting back into it, and feels better. The only thing I think I wish they did was kind of ban all the companions across the board. Yeah, I think personally, and this is just my take, and I'll probably die on this hill, but I think every single companion, even Zerta, even Garuda, like the ones that see no play, should all be banned, because I think that 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, people are going to take advantage of every companion in some way or another, because having that 8th card in hand is a powerful advantage.
All right. Well, I'm actually surprised you just said that, because the fact that the Orion build,
I know, I know, and I want to talk about the Orion build. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good, but I just think the format as a whole would be healthier if we took a shot and just said companions are a mistake. Nerf should have made them. They shouldn't exist. Even with a nerf, let's get rid of them. That's my
I
take.
hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Now, it's been several weeks now, like what, 2-3 weeks now since the banning. I've been playing personally MTGO, and let me just tell you, I'm enjoying not having to worry about or deal with, Loris. Very happy.
Absolutely.
But my thing is, it shook it up so much that the modern meta is, you don't know who or what's coming. You have to literally prepare for anything and everything, but you're sitting there like, what's going on? Now, ban them all, ban Saga.
My brother wants Saga ban too.
Ban the mechanic.
Mhm.
I hate to agree. I mean, there's a part of me that's like, well, I just bought my foiled Urion, and I'm like, no. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah. I like. There's several cards that I personally, I'm going to be honest with you. There's several cards that I would love to have banned, and that's Ragavan. I loathe that little monkey. I'm not a fan of monkeys at all. As a
I
child, and I'll break it here. You're the first person besides my wife who knows this. I was bitten by a monkey at 12 years old. I do not
really,
like monkeys. I loathe monkeys. Like one.
jeez.
Oh yeah, let me just tell you, I do not like monkeys. I was expecting to have super monkey powers, and I don't. All I got is my head that looks like like shaped like a peanut M&M, and that's it. So thanks,
Mhm.
Mr. Monkey, for biting me. But with that being said, I don't like Ragavan. I do not like Urza Saga.
Mhm.
But are they shaking up? Is it a problem in the current meta? Let's be honest with you.
It's a hard question to answer.
It's
I
not.
think sometimes it is. I think sometimes it's not. I think it depends. Like Regadin's a hard card to evaluate. A lot of people hate the card. A lot of people feel it should be banned. I think a lot of people have kind of come to the agreement that it's poorly designed because sometimes Ragavan does nothing, and sometimes it takes over the game and steals the game. I'll never forget one of my first matches playing Modern post Run Horizons 2. Um, my opponent plays Ragavan turn 1. I'm on the draw. I play my other vial. I pass the turn. They hit me with Ragavan. They get their treasure. And this was like some type of Boros prowess deck. So they're playing red-white. So they've got their mountain, I don't know, plains or something, and they get their treasure. What do they hit off the top of my deck? Skyclave Apparition.
Mm.
They play Skyclave, take my vial from me with my own Skyclave. Game over. Game over.
I mean, I actually had that happen to me when I went to SEG Philly. The young man in front of me was playing Ragavan. He hit me, and I played my Aether Vial,
Mhm.
and what he flipped over was my Prismatic Ending.
Oh,
And he had a way to play it. And I'm sitting here like, are you kidding me? He took away my Aether Vial, and it just put me behind. And there
yeah.
was nothing I could do.
So
So that, like, I'm okay. Honestly, I haven't played enough against Urza Saga, but I played more than enough with the monkey. The monkey's gotta go.
I
The
know.
monkey has to go.
But what's tough with Ragavan is like we remember those games, right? Where it hits the prismatic ending off the top, or it hits the sky slapper and steals the vial, and you're just like, this card sucks. I hate this card.
Right.
But then these games have been like Ragavan hits you and it flips a land off the top, and you're like, oh, thank God I didn't get another land, and you draw a spell the next turn, so it kind of helped you. Or there's games where you're on the play, you play a spirit, they play a Ragavan, you play another spirit, you play another spirit, and Ragavan's just sitting there as a 2-1. Just be like, oh, can't attack, can't do anything. But it's such a polarizing card, I think. Some games it takes over and wins off the spot after a hit or two. Other games it does absolutely nothing. And that's why I think it's a poorly designed card. It feels bad. It feels bad to lose to, for sure.
Now, one thing I will say is that it does leave open the opportunity for certain card designs, at the 1 mana. And I'll keep on saying it till I'm blue in the face, and I want the Spirit community to join me in bringing Peekaboo. We need Peekaboo to be designed and put out there. If they can have a stupid little monkey with 3 little abilities, why can't we have Peekaboo? Peekaboo is one of the greatest cards. Phil here says, yeah, just a poorly designed card, and the dash mechanic is probably the most busted thing about it. Yeah, I agree.
That's my brother, actually. He queued in. Yeah.
That's your brother? Okay.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, he queued in to watch. Absolutely.
Steal my Sword of Iron. Oh, dude.
That's brutal. Yeah, that's the problem. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, it's a hard card to evaluate because
I feel
it
bad.
feels bad to play against. But you know what? My brother's playing Rakdos Shadow with Scourge, one of the few people slamming that. He had a recent 5-0. Congrats, Phil. But, like he was saying, Ragavan felt kind of underwhelming in the deck. Like Spear felt better. And it's bizarre. It's just such a frustrating card. Not a good design. So, and if I was at, you said a tournament you were at when they took that ending and took your vial, I'd want it banned too. And if I was bit by a monkey, I would also want it banned.
Yeah, let me just say, I went to SEG Philly. I was excited. I was going to show up and play and be in that 10K, and then I showed up late. Well, the first one was sold out. I was like so upset. Next thing I'm like, they opened the second one. I'm there, and Oh, I missed out. Damn it! Now I got to do a 3-player Swiss, and I ended up going toe to toe with. I forget. I know one was 8 rack, and one was I think was Burn, which I
Mm,
destroyed both of those, and then I faced Jund, and it was just like that stupid freaking monkey. Oh,
I know.
I want to,
People,
like, you can make your joke here. I want to, like, I literally want to spank that monkey. Just,
Mhm.
but insert joke here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I hear you.
Now, what do you think? Like right now, like before, the lure decks were the top decks in the modern meta. Okay, what decks do you think are going to start replacing it? I mean, we still have Murktide that's still up there. We have other decks that are slowly moving up the list. Which decks do you think are going to do something?
It's a good question. I think, excuse me, I would say that isn't Murktide is number one. Definitely. Probably the most played deck in Modern right now. I think Grixis Shadow and Hammer Time are both very good decks still without
Mhm.
Lyrics. I think, we look at SCG results and there was very little Hammer Time or Shadow, and people were just scared to bring it. They were like, I don't have my Lyris. I'm scared. How am I going to do? I think the decks need to adapt. I think they're going to recover. Living End's been putting up some very good results recently.
Yeah, we can beat that.
Yeah, that's a great matchup for us. We have Wanderer, we have Queller, we've got Force of Negation, Rest in Peace, Chalice.
Mhm.
Half our deck beats that deck. And then I would say this is a little bit of a personal thing, but I think Affinity is slept on. I play Affinity as one of my secondary decks, and I think that Affinity is very strong. I think a lot of people aren't prepared for it. Um, I don't think Culligan's Command is enough to beat that deck. I don't think
Mhm.
Shattering Spree, I don't think Force of Vigor is enough to beat that deck. I think you need Stony Silence. I think you need your Karns. I think you need your Fracturing Gust. I think you need to kill everything. Or Affinity
Someone
will.
someone was telling me, Herco's recall, and I'm like, that's a great thought, but the problem is the mana, the artifacts are so cheap that they just
Yep.
spit them right back
Well, it's
out.
like if you're playing an aggressive deck, like there's sometimes I used to play Hercules Recall and Spirits, and it works. If you bounce everything to their hand, next turn you play a lore, you win. But you gotta win. You can't just use your Hercules Recall and then dirtle around because they'll, like you said, replay everything. Over probably 2 turns, their whole board's full again. They're drawing cards with their thought monitors, and there was an Affinity deck in the top 8 SCG, and I think people are a little bit unprepared for it. And I think Hardened Scales is the same way. I think those 2 artifact decks are very strong. But realistically, we'll probably see Is It Murktide. We'll see Living End. We'll see Footfalls. We'll see Urian Piles of Omnath, of course. My least favorite decks in Modern, to be honest. Part of the reason I want Urian banned, but I am glad that Spirits can also take advantage of Urian. Yeah, I think Shadow and Hammer Time will make a comeback as well. So
Now, let me ask you, with the banning of Loris, do you think Spirits got better, or is it just in the same place?
Definitely better, for a couple of reasons. When you're in these grindy matchups now against Rakdos decks, Grixis decks, you're at even footing. Before, a lot of those matchups went down to top deck mode, and it would kind of be like Tribal. Tribal versus mid range is a matchup as old as time. Like Humans used to be one of the best decks in Modern back in right before I started playing. I think 2016, 17, maybe. I've been playing for 5 years now.
But
So I want to say, when Humans was like the best deck in Modern.
let's go like
That
4
sound
to 5
about
years.
right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
because Spirits is what 2018.
Yep.
Like, it's so confusing to say because Supreme Phantom came out at M19, but it came out in M8. The year 2018.
Yeah. So I think when you have these tribal versus mid range matchups and you get into this grind, the game state gets such that it's like, all right, are you going to top deck a land or am I going to top deck a land? If you top deck a removal spell and I top deck a spirit, we're at parity. If you top deck a land, I top deck a spirit. Now I'm ahead. Now you try to remove the spirit. Top deck Rattle Chains. So it gets and then of course we have Marlon Hall. So I think I think those matchups are pretty even now, where they were a little bit unfavored before. And the other thing you got to keep in mind is people are going to be trying to play 3-mana permanents, right? I think you talked a little bit about it with Jerry. People are going to be playing their Lianas. They're going to be playing their Seasoned Pyromancers. People are going to be playing their Ranger Captain of Eos. And all those cards, juicy spell queller targets. Juicy spell queller targets,
Skyclave Apparition.
Yep, absolutely. So Spirits kind of has to get better. I think I don't think there's a world where it gets worse. I'd say the only thing that could happen if these Omnath piles with mass removal and go really big become super popular, it might be hard for Spirits, but we kind of have the tools to beat that matchup. We've got Kira, we've got Burrington Forge Tender for Fury, we have Selfless Spirit for Fury, Rattle Chains for Solitude, Jostle Captain. We're probably the tribe that has the most built-in protection of any tribe in Magic.
Right.
So if your plan is just slam a bunch of removal, you kind of have to be doing something else alongside of that, or else you won't.
I'm telling you, Andre Segura slightly, convinced me, during the last episode that I had him on, that I should be really considering 2 Jog School Captain over Kira. I should put 2 Drug School Captains and then put in 2 Kira instead of the typical 4 Drug School Captains. And I'm sitting here like, it's hard. Like I explained that episode, Drug School Captain is that safety blanket, the little binky that you had as a little kid that you didn't want to give it up. And that's how Drug School Captain is. But now I'm like, there's a lot of effing removal. Let's be honest. There's tons and tons and tons of removal. Yeah, that's cute that, Drug School Captain can, give all your creatures hexproof. But what's better? Oh, a card that makes sure the first card they play gets countered. Okay, not a problem. Oh, but if you go after it, okay, fine, you counter that one. Oh, but then I have a Rattle Chains and I can protect that spirit. Like it makes tons and tons of sense. So like,
Kira's great. Kira's a really well positioned card right now, and I mean, Drive Skull. The advantage is if you get 2 Drive Skulls out, that's it. No more removal for you. Even better than a Kira. Kira, they have to waste 1, but they can kill it if they use 2. Although that puts them way behind. So yeah, there's been metas in the past where we replaced 1 Drive Skull with a Kira, perhaps even 2. But what I'm doing right now is I'm playing the 4 Drive Skulls. I got the 4 Colors. I'm actually playing 1 less Apparition.
Really?
And I'm playing Kira in that slot.
Okay.
And the other thing I'm testing right now as a 13th 3-drop is Cemetery Illuminator. The card we got from, was it Innistrad? The recent Innistrad, I think? Yep. Yeah. And that card's been very impressive,
Okay.
I've been liking it, so.
You're going to have to keep me posted on this. So, ladies and gentlemen, you hear it first. Dr. Katz, the moderator over your Spirits community on Discord. He has Spirit Illuminator in there. So, like, I'm telling you guys, don't, or young ladies as well, don't just sit on your laurels. You got to sit there and try different things. Be a D-star. You got to brew and see what happens within your local community. My local community, I'm going to get to it later, but there's certain lands that I added, and I put 3 of these particular lands in. I'll say 2 are white, 1 in blue, but I'll just leave that hint there, that little thing there. But you gotta try what works with you, and then share with the community. Don't be afraid to go, hey, this is what I did. Or if not, you want to try something wacky and go, hey, I'm going to go with a Orzhov build, or if I'm going to go with a Rakdos Spirit build, do it. Let's see. I would love a multicolored spirit community where we go, well, we can go spirits in any and every single direction that nobody expected. And that's the benefit of our creature base. They protect themselves. Let's do it. Let's improvise.
Sure.
So let me ask you. Here right now, currently 3 spirit decks. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, when I usually say that, the first thing people go to is, oh, he's talking about Pioneer. Usually. Usually, it'd be 100%. You
Mhm.
got the Azorius, you got the Bant, and then you got the Mono Blue Snow.
Yep.
But now in modern, we have a third. We have three builds now.
Yeah,
We
we
have
do.
the Bant, we have the Azorius, and then now we have the Urion. Let me ask you right now, which one of these decks is the cream of the crop?
Which
Curious.
one's the best?
Which one is the cream of the crop right now? Which
Oh
one,
boy.
if you were to sit there and say, I have my hard-earned dollars that I worked this week, I'm going to invest in a deck. Which one are you investing in?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I have a bias with this question because I have one that I prefer out of the three. I have one that I like to play, that I played since I started playing Modern, and it's my favorite deck. So I have to start with that. But I think all three. My real answer is I don't think there is a cream of the crop. I think all three are reasonable. I think
Okay.
each one has an advantage. I think all three are good in their own way. My preference is Azorius. 60
Okay.
card.
Well,
Azorius.
just for you saying all three. Okay, that's the correct answer.
Yes.
But right now, what I will say is that I agree with you. I love the Azorius build.
Yep.
I've always been a little meh on Bant, but I see the benefit in playing Bant in certain meta frames. Right now, you could get away with it because it vomits out creatures as quickly as possible. But right now, I think we need the interactivity, and the one that honestly gives more interactivity right now. You may not. It hurts me to say this, is Urion. Urion is the more interactive deck. You got the prismatic endings, you got the solitudes, you got the
Sure.
subtleties. You have all these other cards that just sit there and make the deck hum. The only
Right.
card I really have been questioning a lot, and I have zero, and I'm going to start begging the Ravishing Run over here, the Ravishing Renata, to
I
get me
just say
the.
hi. Hello, Renata.
No, oh, sorry, she was on mute.
Hi.
There you go. Let me ask her now, honey. Can I get
No.
the March of the wow, the March of the Unholy Light? I need a playset of that book card because I have
You
none,
shot that down
zero.
pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, she's You kidding me? You have to understand, Doctor Katz. My deck is completely foiled.
Oh
Extended
no.
art, the
Oh
alternate
no.
arts. Like you actually liked, I believe you liked on one of these groups my extended art foil Moreland
Huh?
Hots.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. I
like
actually just ordered some extended art Merlin Hans 2 days ago when I was at work. I had a lull at work. I had 20 minutes, and I was like, I'm gonna order the full art Atawara. I'm ordering the Agandra. I'm ordering the Merlin Hans. I'm gonna get the new Kira too from the Secret Lair. The really creepy
I've been thinking about that one.
one that looks like that. Looks like a little baby. It's in
Mhm.
the little fetus.
Yes, exactly. It's like,
Horrifying.
oh, like you want to squish, like it's a little gummy bear you want to squish, like, oh. But I've been thinking about that. But honey, dear, sweetheart, the ravishing one. May I have the March of Unholy Light, please? Please, extended art foils, please.
Why are you putting me under pressure? We'll talk about it later.
Okay, there you go.
Look, is she muted?
I'm trying to get her, like, with the thousands and thousands listening around the world and having her live streams, like, yes. Oh, she
There
got
you
it.
go.
Damn it.
Yeah, put her on the
Damn it.
spot.
But that's one card that I'll be honest with you, with the Urion build. I was like, when I first saw the card, I thought it was a great card. I thought it was an interesting card, but I was like, Spirits doesn't play too much white. There's not enough white.
Mm-hmm.
But with that Urion build, whoa, let me pull myself back. That is an amazing card. That's a stupid great card. It's I'm going to make sure it's an instant, correct? And then guess what? You tap one white, and guess what? There goes Urza Saga.
Yeah, that's the appeal.
Bye.
That's the appeal. You're right. Absolutely. And what I can say, I can
2
talk
mana, I get rid of a Ragavan. Prismatic Ending. What? Prismatic Ending is a what? Sorcery. You kidding me? Two, boom, goodbye, exiled forever. Adios, arrivederci, mushimishi, konnichiwa, adios. What they say in Hawaii? Aloha means goodbye and hello. Well, good hello, then goodbye.
Absolutely. It's an interesting card, and I can talk a little more about like the reasons you'd want to play Azorius or Ban or Urian. I think the reason I went back and said like all three are good is because I think it depends on what you want out of the deck. I think it depends on the meta you have if you play at your local game store. Azorius is probably the cleanest of the three. It's the most consistent. It's pretty good in mid-range matchups. You have access to Moreland Haunt. It's very aggressive. You know, you have your turn one Sailors and your turn one Mausoleum Wanderers. You kind of spit out your hand very quickly. Weakness of the deck is it's more of a tempo deck, and you run out of gas. You run out of cards, and if you get into this top deck mode, you can't really keep up. You don't have Collected Company. You can't add your Urian to hand. So it's a pure tempo deck. But if you play really tight with it, I think it rewards that, and it's very consistent. That's probably why it's my favorite of the three. The mana base is consistent. You're not weak to Blood Moon. Whereas on the other hand, Bant has weaker to Blood Moon. Bant can be inconsistent with opening hands. Sometimes you play your Hierarch and it dies, and you're like, oh no, that was my whole plan. I'm kind of screwed now. And we got to remember, you know, Counterspell exists in this format now, so Collected Company is a lot harder to resolve than it used to be. And I think people who like Collected Company, I'm not saying it's a bad card, it's a great card, but it's hard. It's hard out there for Collected Company sometimes. But if you expect a lot of like Hammer Time, Living End, like combo-y decks that aren't trying to move your creatures, ironically, that's really good because you just flood the board and take over. You got your turn 2 Spell Quellers. And to your point about Urian, yeah, Urian probably grinds the best. You know, Urian has the most removal, it has lots of interaction. It's the only deck of the three that can actually deal with Murktide Regent cleanly with a Solitude. Otherwise, if you're playing one of the other spirits builds, you kind of have to rely on your Shackle Guys and hope you can tap it. You can't kill that thing.
I would have never thought to say that Shackle Guys has become one of the it cards in spirits. I would have never, I could have never seen the day that I would ever say that, and today is the day.
It's so good, yeah, and I think it's frustrating, you know, because a lot of people look at Shackle Guys and they're just like, oh yeah, it's okay, or it's not that great. Like that card has won me so many matches of Magic. Like you play that card against Hammer Time, and if they don't have like enough creatures out, they're done.
Exactly.
They're done. Just tap down their hammer creature every turn.
Oh, you're gonna attack with? Oh no, you're not attacking, my friend. No.
No,
Sorry.
you're not.
No, the ink. Hold on. You put that on an Ink Moth Nexus, and you think you're gonna win? Oh no! Like it's like the Family Guy, the little Rosita, wherever her name is, the Mexican maid come out. No. You know, it's just that's.
Shadow Gates is slept on. Shadow Gates is like sneaky underrated card that's very helpful.
I slept on it, but like it's funny. Like there's certain cards that I just completely sleep on. I'm like, But this brings me to my point that Peekaboo needs to be made, and I've rescinded. It no longer needs to be blue. It needs to be a white card. I'm saying now Peekaboo should be a white card. 1 white mana, 1/1 flyer comes into play. Look at the opponent's hand and draw a card.
Love it.
1 white. Just saying. If we can have a Ragavan, we can have a Peekaboo.
We can. Maybe Modern Horizons 3. Maybe Lord of the Rings set will have a little, I don't know what the ghosts are in Lord of the Rings universe, whatever they're called.
Whatever they're called. I don't care. As long as it says spirit on the tagline, I don't care.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that would be interesting. You know, it's funny. People ask me, like, what would it take for spirits to be tier 1 again? What would it take for spirits to be like one of the best decks in Modern?
It's already there. It's 1.5. I call it 1.5. It's not 1.1, but it's 1.5. It's definitely the tier 2 BS now. It's definitely not a 2-tier deck. I've literally seen 2-tier decks, and I've smashed them easily with my eyes closed. And I still don't understand how to use MTGL correctly. Just saying. Like I had, what is this one thing where they bring Archon of the Dark, some black
Cruelty. It's a Reanimator.
Yeah, people are scared of this deck. I wiped the floor with this deck. I was like, please, dude. Like, no disrespect, but why did you invest? No, get that thing away from me, please.
Very hard to resolve an instant or a sorcery against a spirits player.
No,
very hard. And that brings me to my point. Like I'm gonna give you a boring answer right now about what would make the deck tier one again, or
Okay.
like tier zero. Very boring answer. Reprint Mausoleum Wander. Give him a different name. That's it.
Hmm.
That's it.
Okay.
It's
I would have
boring.
I would have gone with Peekaboo or Ghost Attendant.
Peekaboo's cooler.
But
But the reason I say it is because
but how about Ghost Attendant? People sleep on Ghost Attendant. The other card I thought of.
what was the other one?
The Ghost Attendant is a white and a generic. It's a it's a 2/1 flyer or a 1/2 flyer, depending on how they want to do it.
Okay.
And it's Ghost Quarter on a spirit. That's why it's Ghost Attendant, because Ghost Quarter, Ghost Attendant.
Interesting. So do they get a basic land?
Yeah, that's it.
So they get a basic.
But it comes into play tapped, just like Ghost Quarter.
Oh. Comes into play tapped. That's interesting. I haven't thought about that. That would kind of give spirits like a Death and Taxes feel to it. I would like that.
But think about it. It's like the way I thought it was like I saw the first image in Dissension, these ghosts. I'm like, oh, Ghost Quarter. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Ghost
they need a Ghost Attendant.
We get that new Capetta. There's like a little mafia ghost here that's coming in and
Exactly, and it fits the what was the Ravnica feel with the white.
yeah,
Just saying.
yeah.
We get the Peekaboo. We put the Ghost Attendant. The Ghost Attendant. Quarters.
Sure.
Sorry, Quarters Attendant. Quarters Attendant. Ghost Quarter.
Okay.
Quarters Attendant. That's the
Quarters.
better name of it.
Has to
Monty,
have
if you
flying. Has to have flying.
listen, Mark Rosewater. I know you watch this show. Oh, you don't. I know you don't. But if you're watching this show, make Peekaboo and Quarters Attendant happen. Just saying.
Or like I said, reprint Wander, different name. That's a boring answer.
But I think both, like any of those three, would actually reinvigorate. Because let's be honest, the one mana spot, man, our 3 spot is solid. It's Chef's Kiss.
I know.
It's second the 2 mana spot. Delicious Chef's Kiss.
Yeah.
The 1 spot, I mean, all we have, honestly, is Mausoleum Wanderer in a stupid Spectral Sailor that you have to put 4 mana in to get a 4 mana.
Yep.
Look, I would have kept my mouth shut if it was like 3. I would have been, okay, that's a solid one. But 4 freaking mana. Nah, pal. Nah.
Actually, you know what's funny? 3 would have been great because
3 would have been awesome.
You can all color if opponent doesn't do anything, draw a card. Be amazing. Yeah. Well, you know what? The reason I say Wander, and I know it's boring, but think about Mill, right? Mill was a deck that was kind of a meme, and Mill is a lot better than it used to be. And I believe
Mill is great now.
I believe a big reason why is think about it. They got another crab, and it's the same crab, except what? It has 1 more toughness, 1 less toughness as each instead of opponent, something like that.
Something like that.
But the thing is, if we had another Wander, we would have so many games where you go Wander, turn 2, Wander, turn 3, Lord, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
You're dead. I mean, it's simple, and like a deck like Burn would never win against Spirits. Literally never. It'd be impossible. When I was talking to my Burn friend, and he was like, "Don't do that. I don't agree with that." Like, he's like, "That would be, busted, and Spirits would instantly be tier 1." And I'm not complaining about that.
No. Why would we? We're both biased. Why would we?
The other thing, though, I would like to say, be a little more creative, I would say, is 2 mana, 1/1 flyer, a blue and a white.
Okay.
When this card deals combat damage to your opponent, draw 1 card.
Hold on. When that creature does damage, or any creature?
Just that one.
Okay. Because when you said it, I was thinking any creature. I'm like, bing!
If you want to be unreasonable, I can be unreasonable. My unreasonable choice is a 2 mana Lord, 2/2 flyer, a blue and a white. Each time, and it has all other spirits you control get +1/+1, and the ability when this creature deals combat to it, just do an opponent draw a card.
I see.
You play that, you attack for 4 creatures, draw 4 cards. Basically playing Yuri, and now just blink everything, you attack with everything, draw 5 cards.
But I guarantee this is what you're gonna get. We're gonna get something. We're gonna end up getting a 1 mana creature with phasing that does some type of phasing ability.
That'd be interesting.
And trust me, like they're leaning Spirits in that phasing direction, and it's like, come on. Like I see it. I see it coming. It's like, yeah, great. We're gonna go fishing.
You know what would be
Yeah.
funny? We didn't get many good spirits in the past few Innistrad sets, but what if we get like some Mafia or Orzhov spirit in New Capenna, or
I
some
wouldn't mind. I
something? Cause I harken back to and you might know this as an EDH player. What's the Ghost Council of Orzhov?
yes.
The
Hmm.
other another Orzhov spirit thing, like
I think it was like what, 2, 3 black and 3 white, or it's like
something
some
like
like
that. Yeah.
stupid thing.
If there was a spirit that was good enough that was black and white, I'd play Esper Spirits. I think that'd be interesting. You
I
know?
don't see why people don't play Warzone Spirits now. It's potential. The only reason why people don't really play it, and I'll be honest, is here. There's no Lord. There's no Caucasian Lord.
Mhm.
If we had a white Lord, that'd be a different story.
No, Caucasian Lords. Yeah, I get
Well,
you.
I got to be careful because people go, I see how you are. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
didn't think
I don't
about
want to be
that.
that guy. So it's like,
Yeah, you're right. Gospel Captain and Phantom are blue. That's
yeah,
true.
that's why. Because in today's society, you got to really be careful. That's why I'm like,
No, no, you're right. Absolutely.
I'm like,
100%.
trust me, it hurt me just me saying that. It's like,
But yeah, no, I think so. Back to our original question, I think all three spirit decks are fine. I think all of them would be a reasonable choice to register for a tournament. I agree with you that it's tier 1.5. I don't think it's tier one, but I think it's a good deck. And if you play very tight and you learn the patterns of the deck, you can do well. And D
mhm,
Star has shown that.
amen.
And
Well, let
Dr.
me
Glover
ask you.
has shown that.
Yeah, well, let me ask you. We know that Azorius and we know Bant are true staples of the
Yep.
spirit community. Is Yorion a staple? Is it a staple, or is it just like a fly by night?
Not a staple, in my opinion, for two reasons. One is that it's not popular enough yet. But if more people start playing Urian Spirits and Spirits picks up steam and we see more top eights with Urian Spirits and people start respecting the deck and registering it, then yes, it will be a staple. Um, the only reason I don't call it a staple is because I think Urian will be banned eventually.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
Not right now, but I think that in time, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your perspective, I think Urian's probably going to have to go. Maybe I should be playing it now because that's kind of my attitude, taking advantage of it.
You know, this is what I tell people. You, with regret, the term regret, either you regret doing something or you regret not doing something. To me, the worst regret in life could be the regret that you didn't do. And the reason
Mm,
why is you had an opportunity and you missed out just because you were unsure. Now you can go back and go, man, that was a stupid thing I did. Man, I regret doing it, but at least you did it. You know, you will strike out 100% of the time if you don't swing that bat.
you're right. Maybe I'll play
So
Urian Spirits in my next league. You've encouraged me.
there you go. Like you got to give it a shot. Like, and that's
Yep.
that's why I invested. Like, like I tell everybody, I have the Bant, I have the Azores, like every version of spirits that is out there, I have. I made sure because if I'm going to be a person who creates content for the spirit community, damn it, I better have these damn cards and I better be
Yeah,
playing them left and right so I can share my insight with everybody.
agreed. Yeah,
With
I guess
this
that's the
Yorion build,
responsibility. Yeah,
this Urion build was let me tell you, it was a godsmack. It just I was like, what? A top 5 with spirits? Okay, let me look at this dude put in 20 more cards. Are you effing kidding me? Like, okay, fine. Let me look at this leg. And I'm like, okay, I gotta talk to this guy. And that's what sold me. I was like, okay, now I literally am one card away from completing the deck. And that's a card that I'm gonna get to in a little bit.
Urian? No, I'm kidding.
No, I got the full trust me, I got the extended art
See, that's
foil
the, that's the
Urion.
trick. Play the
Yeah,
deck. Play the 80 card deck. Just don't play Urian, and you'll lose fine.
there you go. Well, let me ask you. This is the next question. Ready?
Okay.
With the printing of channel lands like Jonjo, the seat of the empire, or Ottawa, the soaring city,
Hmm.
how much has this helped out the spirit deck or spirit decks?
I think it's helped a fair amount. I think they're very good cards, and I'll be honest with you. Like my brother and I were playing some casual table Magic yesterday. He's playing his prowess deck. I'm playing my spirits deck. Not a good matchup, but he attacks him with the Soul Scar Mage, Manamorphose, and I use a Ganjo, kill a Soul Scar, discard it, and then I'm able to, hold up Color the next turn and not have to take a risk of calling a Manamorphose to get my Color bolted. So I think a Ganjo is good. But the card I've been even more impressed with is Otawara. Otawara is, so you got to remember, these channel lands are uncounterable, because these aren't, you're not casting a spell, you're channeling. So the only way you counter these abilities is if you got like a stifle effect or something. It's
And
like
they're not making it.
land.
They're not making stifle cards.
No. Make Stifle Squander. That's my other thing. Make Wander Stifle. Kind of your fetch.
Oh, I would. You give me a spirit with flash with stifle. Oh
boy. That would be amazing. But like Otawara, if someone has a big Murktide Regent and they just exile their graveyard, pay 4 mana, return it to their hand, good luck replaying it. Like those cards are very good. Like just to speak about how strong they are. The deck that won SCG, the paper tournament, very big tournament, a lot of money on the line. Living End player, he had 2 Otawaras in his deck and 1 Boseiju. And part of the reason they do that is like your opponent plays Rest in Peace, you can use Otawara, bounce it, return it to their hand. They've kind of replaced Brazen Borrower with these cards now. And if someone has an Ensnaring Bridge, bounce it. I had a game where I was playing against Control, I want to say. I have out Lavinia and Akira. They're both legendary.
right.
So that makes Otawara cost 2 mana. So I bounced their Teferi back to the hand, hold up Spellcaller. They try to go play Teferi again. Oh, it's quelled. Those cards are very good, and I think they're underrated right now. I've actually taken out my Canopy lands, the ones that a lot of people play. These spirits, the ones that tap for white or blue, you deal damage. Are you still playing those, or you took them out?
Nope, took them out. I did the same thing. At first, I'll be honest with you. Well, technically, this is what I did. I ended up putting 2 Aganjo and 1 Otawara. Okay, sure. I took out both of the Canopy lands, and then I forgot what I think I took out one of the
maybe one of the plains or islands or something. Or
no, I actually took out, and you're gonna go, Dwight. What the hell are you doing? I originally took out one of the Cavern of Souls because I was playing with 3. And I was like, really, there's not a lot. And then I started facing a lot of Control. I was like, okay, let me put that back in. But then I ended up pulling back one of the Moreland Haunts.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, realistically, all you need is 1 Moreland Haunt. But let me just tell you that Otawara, but I'm a huge, as the former huge fan of the Aganjo. Huge fan. Huge.
Yeah.
I love that card. There's no interest. That right there, single-handedly, I think improves every single spirit deck out there, because the fact that we are playing white and the fact that it can't be countered.
Yep.
Oh, fine. The best part, most people complain, it's like, oh, I wish I could do it at the end of the turn. I wish I didn't have to worry about dealing with it in an attack phase or blocking phase. Who cares? Like, I hate to say it this way. Who cares?
Yep.
You have a 2/2 and they're sending their prime time at you, Primeval Titan. Come at me, bro. I'll block. Not a problem here. Take 4. No, prime time is gone.
Yep.
Bye. Aloha. No.
There's a lot of tricks. Yeah. I had a game where I had 3 mana up. I was just holding up Spellcaller, holding up a Ganjo. My opponent attacks in with a dash Ragavan. 2 mana, dashes in that Ragavan, just a Ganjo. And then I'll hold Caller for something else. The cards are underrated for sure. I think the thing that would make me consider going back to Horizon Lands if we get a blue-white one. If we get one that's blue and white, because then it would be perfect mana. But then we have to deal with, okay, that's harder versus burn, that's harder versus prowess, that's harder versus aggro. Now we're taking a lot of damage.
See, it really depends. Honestly, it also depends on the meta. Yeah. It also depends on the meta. Because it's like there's times where you look at the meta and go, should I lean this way or should I not lean this way? You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, you're right.
So like before, I was like good. You, I wanted the white blue Horizon Land. Now I'm like, I don't care. I
You
don't
don't care
care.
anymore. You're
I
just
don't
gonna.
care. If they could make a channel land, a white blue channel land that I don't know, instant board wipe, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah,
Okay, and I all I got to pay is 4 man. Like
like a
let's
verdict.
go stupid supreme supreme verdict. I think that is right. The
Yeah,
one that
straight
wipes out
verdict.
all the like
Yep.
the huge board wipe that can't be cut. That is a channel land. I'm in. I'm in.
You know who'd play it though?
I personally hands down would
Control.
play it because I put selfless spirit. Boom. I
Yeah.
force come at me, bro.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
no.
Yeah, the lands are really underrated. They're very good. I've been like surprisingly impressed with them. And you have to remember, before Skyclave Apparitions printing, Spirit's weakness was dealing with a resolved card.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't do anything. Once something was on the board, it's got past our spell card. It's got past our other threats. So like we have Apparition now, sure, but that's one of the reasons I'm playing 3 Apparition. I've got
Mm-hmm.
2 lands that can be removal spells in certain situations. So that's why I think like both those have been a big help, especially to Azorius, especially to the Urian versions. I can probably play 2 of each. I think that's what D-Star was doing, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But Ban, I don't know. It might be harder for Ban to play those because they need the mana.
You're getting ahead of me. You're getting ahead of me because this is the next question I have for you. Ready?
Sure.
Beseju. Okay?
Yep.
Beseju. Who endures? Because it did endure. Okay? It endured a lot of trials and tribulations, and Beseju's still there.
Sure.
It is the hot sexiness of all channel lands. I have to admit it. Me personally, at first I'm like, no. But then looking at it and revising, I'm like, yo, that card is so stupid good. Does it
Sure.
fit in bands? I think one. One. I want to put personally inside. Me personally, I would
Yep.
love to put 3. But realistically, one.
I mean, you can.
You can, but you would have egg all over your face. You remember the old Bugs Bunny cartoons,
Oh
and
yeah,
the next the guy makes a fool of himself and it says sucker and he looks like a lollipop.
I grew
That
up
would
with
be
it.
my face
Yeah.
if I put 3 in there and playing. Realistically, sucker or like what the donkey like jackass. That would be me if I really did that.
Great.
Realistically, 1.
You might be able to fit one. I mean, there's a couple things you could do. You could replace your forest with it,
Mhm.
so you're not losing any consistency in the mana. But then you can't fetch a forest, which, being honest, isn't really that relevant anyways. You're not doing that often unless you're facing a blood moon. And if you're facing a blood moon, you kind of want your island and your plains before your forest. So you could do that. I mean, like,
Technically, you could put 2 in there. Like that's going. You're going wild. You're getting crazy. Cats
you're
and
getting
dogs living
crazy.
together. Mass hysteria. They're me
Well, what's Besiege? Besiege destroys artifacts and enchantments, right? I want to say,
and planeswalkers
and planeswalkers.
and
And
non-basic lands. Non-basic lands. Non-basic lands.
I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, destroying. Trying to think here. Obviously, we don't care about destroying like a rest in peace or something. We
No.
could destroy a snaring bridge with it.
Okay, let me bring it up. Ready? I just want to make sure I read it to you. Channel 1 in the green. Discard Beseju who endures. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land an opponent controls. Sorry, I was wrong about the
I know planeswalker.
Planeswalker. That was Adawara that does the Planeswalker. That player may search their library for a land with a basic land type, put that card onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library and cost 1 less for each legendary creature.
Legendary.
So
That's
since we don't
interesting.
play
So it's kind of like
legendary,
a ghost quarter. Like so you could play it against Tron. That's pretty nice.
let's
Love
see,
Tron.
Urza Saga.
Urza Saga, yeah, and Urza Saga. If you, yeah, well, Urza Saga's land and enchantment. That's the one I was thinking of. You just brought it back to me. Yeah, I'd say it's reasonable to play one in ban in that case because you got Urza Saga, you got Tron, which
Mm-hmm.
ban doesn't really want to see either of those decks. So that's reasonable. Yeah, I think that's an interesting card, and it's funny because I'm also I play Death and Taxes, one of my second Death and Taxes and Findy are my other 2 decks,
Right.
and a lot of D&T players were like, "Oh, Leonin Arbiter, Boseiju, blow up a land, they get nothing," like
Mhm.
uncounterable land destruction, and some of them are having fun with that, playing the green white taxes. So it has some applications. It's a cool card. It's cheapest, 2 mana is a lot less than 3 or 4. So I think it's reasonable. You convinced me. I was gonna say no. I was gonna say I don't think you should play it in ban. Now I'm like maybe in place of a forest if you don't care about blood.
Yeah, I'd say minimum of 1. If you're feeling frisky, maybe 2.
Very
But
frisky.
like, look at me. I'm the idiot that has 2 of John Joe. I'm playing them, and let me just tell you,
Well,
I have the 2 of John Joe and the Adawara, and let me just tell you, Chef's Kiss, it works every single time. There's only been one time have I played that I got both of those freaking
and you got kind of
John Joe's in my hand, that I'm like, yeah, this sucks. But I ended up playing a 3-mana card because it's like, oh, I tap this for white, I tap this for blue. Oh, this comes in. I'll get rid of the original one tapped. Oh,
oh yeah, the whole legendary thing. Yeah.
exactly. So I played that, and let me just tell you, rakata, it worked. So I'm like,
I mean, I guess, as long as you have an excuse to channel it, right? Like if you can play 2, because then like you just channel the second one. And you don't have to, but it's just a matter of hitting your land drops and stuff. So, but yeah, no, interesting. Yeah, well, Statue has some applications in
Yeah,
for sure.
so I'm just throwing it out there. Like, if you want to follow my lead to a John Joe, I'm just saying they won out of war, but that's up to you. I'm not gonna, you know, turn your arm, force you, give you an Indian, with the arm burn. I
Yeah,
gotta be
yeah.
careful because it almost came out of my mouth. I'm like, that's not politically correct. Let me just retract that arm burn thing that people
Yes,
used to
I know what you're
do.
talking about. I remember that elementary school days.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, how do you like the Spirit Trial, how it stands currently? Obviously, you like how it stands. You think it's a 1.5.
Yep.
But do you think people should brew more like D-Star?
Yes, 100%. And I think sometimes, how can I say this being nice? I think sometimes that when people become attached to a deck or a play style, and this is not just Magic the Gathering, this is everything. I play Super Smash Brothers. I play shooting games like Destiny. Very competitive person. I play sports and stuff. Like people get attached to something and they don't want to let that go. So
It's comfort.
it's comfort. Yeah, and I'm the worst. I'm the worst at that. Like I hate change. I like to. When you ask me which one do you like, I like Azorius. Azorius, boring Azorius. Like I don't play Companion. But the thing is, honestly, we need more people like D-Star. We need more people like Nikachu. Sometimes I think Nikachu's 80 card Merfolk deck's worse than a 60 card Merfolk deck, but I still think he should. I told him that. I told him recently. I said, go back to 60, man. It's not working. And I tried to be nice about it.
I was watching. Even though I was handing out medication and dealing with my patients as a nurse, I did see that. I was like,
did you see that? Yeah.
That's all I could do. I was like, oh.
And I'm not, it's, but the thing is, we need to innovate to know if it's right or wrong first, right? We need to experiment. We need to test new things. It's trial and error. Like D-Star hit top 5. It worked for him. It doesn't mean it's better. It doesn't mean it's worse. But we need to experiment. We need to try new things. And the more, like, you got to think about it logically sometimes, right? Like, people will say stuff like, oh, Spirits is tier 2, or like Travel decks are unplayable now. But the problem with that is word travels. When people start saying travel decks aren't playable because of cards like Prismatic Ending and Fury, people are like, oh, I really wanted to play humans, but I'm not gonna now because people tell me it's unplayable. So less people are playing the deck, therefore the deck's less represented. Like think this maybe, think about statistically, like how many Isn't Murktide players you think go to a tournament? A lot, probably. How many do you think? Like let's say we had a 100-man tournament. I'd see at least 15 out of 100 play Isn't Murktide. How many Spirits players? 3, maybe 2.
Isn't Murktide? No. 100? I'd say easy about 25.
25?
I easily say 25. Then from that point on, I'd say maybe 15 show up with Hammer Time, and then from that point, it just goes.
So here's my question.
1 or 2
here's my question, and this is something that I try to pose to people. Let's say we had 25 Spirits players. Do you think we'd see more Spirits top 8? Yeah.
Of course. Oh yeah.
But people have this tendency to attach to what the top thing is, or this is the best, or even if it's by margins like this. So like we need to experiment. We need to innovate. We need to get out there. We need to represent. And that's why this podcast is good.
Thank you.
Frankly,
Thank you. I humbly appreciate that. Now,
because
my thing is that I was actually, there's a part of me that wants to do a uh Orzhov build and just try to innovate. And then I'm like, well, what would I use him in the 1 mana spot? I'm like Toppelgeist. Why not use Doppelgeist? You know what Doppelgeist does, or not real? Or you remember? I'll read it for the audience. 1 white mana, it's a 1/1 flyer. When Doppelgeist enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. Simple.
yep.
But then this is the fun part where we, the Brewers, have to figure out. It has Delirium at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep. If there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, tap target creature that opponent controls. So guess what? It does the same thing as Shacklegeist, but the only difference is I have to have Delirium.
Yes.
For a 1 white mana, a 1/1 flyer.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this is where I'm like, you know what? This is where I'm starting to go. I'm actually leaning. There's another pestilent spirit.
Mm-hmm.
1 black, 2 generic menace. I think it's like a 1/3. Every card you have has death touch.
Oh, interesting.
Why not build around that and just target your opponent's creatures? Leaves them wide open. Oh, my spirits just fly through.
Yeah.
These are things that I say, and it's like people are all, Dwight, you're saying it. Why don't you do it? Well, I don't want to be the only person here who loves the Spirit Tribe. It's like I want people, like, besides me. I want the world to experiment. Try. Let's cut through the veil of just Azorius, Bant, and now Urion, and go, what can I break through? How great would it be if you're known to your fellow gamers as Dr. Queller? How would you like to be known as Andre Segura? How much would you like people to go, D-Star now? You become those names. You become synonymous in the Spirit community. How great, how awesome would that be? Let me be the content maker. Let me sit there and share your knowledge, your worth, your understanding, you breaking through the mold and saying, no, I'm number one and I'm coming through. I'm kicking down the doors. I challenge you, the Spirit. I want you, the Spirit player out there. Listen to what I'm telling you. I want you to succeed. I want to be your Uncle Sam. I want you to build a Spirit deck that steps outside the norm. Kicks ass, take names, do what you got to do. Walk in and say, hey, I'm here to chew bubblegum, kick ass, and I ran out of bubblegum.
Yeah. I mean, and I think part of that innovation and experimentation is you have to be willing to fail, right?
Exactly.
Like you can try something and it won't work, and you're like, oh, well, I tried it. I thought it might be good. It wasn't. Let me try it again. Let me try something different, and having that open-mindedness.
Let me just tell you, most of the millionaires and billionaires out there, they became rich and successful because of failure. Okay. Before I started this podcast, before I became a nurse, okay, before I was just an idiot moron. Okay. I decided one day I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I started my own business. I successfully owned the business for 12 to 13 years until I sold it last year, 2021. Now I'm like, I'm getting in spirits. I'm doing my own thing. I'm now going to try something different. I got to change. I got to evolve. Spirit community, we need to go. We need to evolve. As much as we love, the Bant and Azorius, and we got to grow. I mean, look at Nikachu of Spirit, of the Merfolk. Yeah. He's not sitting on his laurels. What Merfolk has always been known for? What? Mono blue. They're now going Azorius. They're going Izzet. I don't even know if you've seen the Izzet build. The Izzet build is stupid good, but it's so underground that nobody knows about it. You have the Demir version. There's the Simic version. There's so many versions of Merfolk, and we're still stuck here twiddling our thumbs with Azorius and Bant. And I'm like, no. Come on, be my heroes. Come on, guys and girls out there. I seriously, I would like a Betty Lou Reynolds come out of nowhere and just go, hey, you know what? I'm gonna stick
Choose
the flag
Orthodox
and
spirits,
take.
choose Orthodox spirits, and
Yeah, why not?
yep.
I've seen Marin. I don't know if you've seen Marin MTG. She's a
Yep.
young lady on the West Coast. She makes this great content, and she's constantly making, great stupid decks that
She
just
innovates, yeah.
win.
Yep, I've
And
let her
she's
play
not
that.
afraid to challenge herself. Come on,
Yeah,
if she can do it, why can't we?
sure.
Have the gonads.
Yep.
Just
Innovate.
saying, innovate. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got preachy. It's Sunday.
Yeah, I noticed. But
Praise
no,
the
you're
Lord.
right. You're right, though. You're right. You're absolutely right, though. Like, sometimes we have to step outside of our comfort zone and try something new. That's what D-Star did, and it paid off. And
Hell, good chess guy.
yeah,
I mean, you got white
you know,
blue
you
there.
should talk to about that Tuesday Tastic.
Yeah, well, that's the only reason why I brought it up, because Tuesday Tastic is desperate to build a Just Guy deck, and I'm like, okay, if you can build it, if you make it, they'll come.
Funny story. When I first started playing Modern, I wanted to play Black. I did. Black was my favorite Magic color. It's dark, a little skull icon. It's spooky. It's creepy. So I was originally gonna build Us for Spirits. I tried it for a little bit. I had my Lingering Souls in my deck. I had some Fatal Push.
Right.
And for me, it didn't really work. But I was also a new player that just started playing Magic.
That's all right.
So
Well,
there's some.
now that you're the experienced guy, go back. Let's go. Let's see what you can do. You got that pestilence spirit that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Make a Rakdos. You want
Rakdos.
to stun everybody? Rakdos. People are like, Rakdos spirits? What?
Yep.
No. Spirits is Azorius, the opposite color code of what you. No.
Mm-hmm.
No. Let me get to my next question, because I think we've had a lot of fun here. With New Capenna on the horizon, okay, it's only about a month away, right? Spoilers should be coming out momentarily. I think Mark Rosewater should be releasing it either this Monday or the following Monday.
One of the kind of like preview things that he talks about, or he feels.
Yeah, I can't wait to go over it.
Yep.
What are you hoping for spirits? Besides the peekaboo and quarters attendant and the next mausoleum wonder, what are you hoping for?
I have a feeling that I know the set is like sort of like mafia crime esque and has something to do with like demons and monsters and stuff. So maybe some type of like mono white or Orzhov spirit that has an interesting ability. That lets us grind a little bit better. Like what's a card in humans? 2 mana, black card, looks at the opponent's hand, takes a card from them.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
I can't think
Sky,
of the name.
Sky, Skybeater?
Freebooter. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kitesail Freebooter. Like something like that would be interesting. Like a 2 mana, 2/1 flying. When it enters the battlefield, look at your opponent's hand, take one instant or sorcery, take one non-creature spell, exile it, put it under, and when it dies, they get it back. Sort of like a queller, but it looks at the opponent's hand. Something like that would be neat. Like a white 1 mana spirit with a cool ability would be neat. Like I can't say peekaboo, but something like that.
That's no boo sheet.
Yeah. But like, or maybe I mean, this is another answer that might be a little bit boring, but like think about Champion of the Parish, right? Champion of the Parish. So like 1 mana white, 1/1 fire. When a spirit enters the battlefield, gets a +1/+1 counter.
Okay.
But if it was flying, it'd be pretty strong.
That would be too
Maybe,
strong.
yeah, probably a little too strong.
Like I was like, if you gave it like non-flying,
Yep. Or like another thing that'd be interesting. I was thinking about this. What about like a white, like a Caucasian lord? Yeah, me saying that. A Caucasian spirit lord that.
Wait! I can't wait till you go to your LGS. Go. Do you have one of those lords? This particular lord. They're gonna look at you like, what?
What are you
Get
talking
out of
about
here.
here? Yeah, some type of 2 mana lord, but instead of being like just a vanilla, like all spirits get +1/+1, add some like all spirits get +1/+1 in board 1.
Right.
You know, so if you're going to target any of these spirits, it costs 1 extra mana for you to do that.
Like a
Something
ward. Like a ward. Yeah,
ward, ward.
I'd be okay with a ward.
Yep, like some type of ward, built-in ward effect, because that seems to be a keyword they're using more often. They're not really keen on hexproof anymore, so some type of ward effect on a
A
spirit.
ward of losing 1 life. Oh.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Or ward where we get to draw a card. Ooh.
It's getting more card draw.
I'm just saying, like, give us a white lord.
Here you go.
Okay, white and a generic. Okay, give your spirits +1/+1, and all your spirits have ward 1, where they become the target of spell. You draw a card for that ward cost.
Yep. That would be
Just
interesting.
saying
That'd be strong. That'd be strong.
and the best part is a defensive card. It's not an aggressive card. It's a defensive.
Yeah.
It's a passive card.
Sure.
And I'm okay with that. I'm like, it would suck. Like, please target my creatures, please.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, or you know, like you were talking about phasing, maybe something with phasing. Maybe something where phase out opponent's creature, like until end of turn. You know, like in your opponent's upkeep, you phase out a Ragavan, you flash it in, Ragavan's phase out at the end of the turn, no attacks from that.
I hear you.
There's a lot of interesting things they could do, I think. Or another good white removal spell, you know. Talking about non-spirits, we've got a lot of good white removal spells. We got Prismatic Ending, we have Portable Hole, we have March of Otherworldly Light, we have Path to Exile, we have Solitude. White's been really ramping up on their removal. So something of that sort would be interesting. Or even another spirit with removal like Skyclave Apparition.
I'm okay with that. You know,
Yeah.
like
I'll make it
portable
3
whole
mana.
spirits.
Yeah,
Think about it. A portable whole spirit.
Yeah.
I'm okay with a portable whole spirit.
Yep. Exile, put under it. When it dies, get it back.
We call it Holy Spirit.
Yep. There you go. Except it's whole Y spirit.
I'm sorry. I feel bad for the viewing audience, like, or listening audience. Like, this dude just cracks himself up. This is awful. He laughs at his own dad jokes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know, right?
Yes, I do. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can find Dr. Katz on Twitter at Dr. Katz 11, or on Twitch, Dr. Katz XI, which means 11 in Roman numerals. So check him out. We're coming to the last question here, so I want to make sure we threw that out there.
Sure.
You're aware that, let's say about 3 weeks ago, New Capenna, okay, they spoiled some lands. Okay. They ended up spoiling the triomes. They got one that's a forest, plains, and island, and it's called Sparrow's Headquarters. Do you think we'll see that card in Bant or potentially in Urion? The only reason why I bring it up in Urion is because it's playing the Rogrin Triome. So I'm like, let's get rid of that Rogrin Triome. It doesn't fit our thing. It's like the feng shui doesn't work correctly there. Let's put Sparrows in there.
Sure.
What do you think?
So maybe. I mean, the advantage of playing it in Bant is you got access to all 3 colors on one land, right? Which is nice, admittedly. Disadvantage is it's tap, which is a little bit of a problem only because, you know, with spirits as an aggro deck and the tempo deck, you kind of want to curve out. Like, you don't want to be like playing that and then not be able to play your Noble Hire turn 1, or playing that and not be able to play your Spell Queller turn 2 or something. So it depends. I think could have application in Bant. And regarding the Urian Spirit Spell, I think it sort of doesn't matter. I mean, it depends. Like, because the whole reason the Urian Spirit Spell plays Triumph is so that way, if you're going to use Prismatic Ending, you can exile something for 1 mana, 2 mana, or 3 mana.
Right.
So Prismatic Ending needs 3 colors. Doesn't matter which 3 colors.
Right.
So unless you're going to play, like, throw Collect a Company in the deck, or like some red spell like Lightning Bolt or Ragavan Spirits. Somebody suggested at one point, which I detest. I don't want to see Ragavan Spirits, but hey, maybe people need to innovate and do that, right?
Maybe if they ban it, we get a Spirit Monkey.
There you go.
Because we already got the spirit. They already made the spirit, the karmic spirit guy, the one red monkey that you discard and get a one red mana.
Yep.
So we already
Yeah.
have one spirit monkey. Maybe we'll get Ragavan as a
Another
spirit monkey.
Yeah. But see,
And
then
that'll
you're
be
gonna
our Pika. That would be our version of Peekaboo.
then you'll have the love-hate relationship because you were bit by a monkey and you love spirits, so you'll be like conflicted.
Yeah, I'll be torn like that
You'll be
stupid monkey.
very torn.
Speaking
Yeah,
of monkey,
I mean, the only advantage I'd see if you played in Urion is like you fetch him, people are like, oh, this guy's playing advanced spirits. And I was like, no, I'm playing Urion spirits.
okay.
But then you reveal Urion anyway, so I mean, it's a neat land. It could see flame Vant, but tap lands are a little hard to play if you're not playing a control deck. But some people like Glasspool Mimic. You know, we've been surprised before, so potentially.
I mean, Glasspool Mimic's one of those cards. I'll be honest with you. In Spirits, it's like it works great, but it's like weird. It's like we want to not like it, but we should like it a lot more.
I had mixed feelings on that card because when it first came out, I was playing with it. I was facing my friend who plays Burn, and I played a spell queller and quelled like a lava spike. Then, you know, that Vial on 3 put another spell queller and quelled a bolt and then another spell queller. And I was like, this card's great. Like, it's amazing. Just keep copying my aberrations and spell quellers. But then I had another game where I need to play it as a land. And I was just like, damn it. Like, you know, I can't, I don't want to play it turn 1 because I want to play Mausoleum Water. I don't want to play it turn 2 because I want to play my Phantom. Like, I guess I could play a turn 3, but now I can't play Queller until the next turn. And so, like, that's the issue with tap lands sometimes, I think. Like, they're really good when they're not tapped, but when they are tapped, it's like, you have to take off a turn. And sometimes, especially with Modern right now, and Spirits as a deck, it's hard to take off a turn. You know, it can be hard to kind of just say, "Hey, you go. Let's skip my turn."
Yeah. I 100% agree. You can't take a turn off. You have to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's the best thing about the channel. It's they do not come into play tapped.
Oh my god! Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. That is the best thing. 100%. And uncounterable. So
that's the cherry on top.
Yes, it is.
There's a fat guy who likes cake and pie with cherries on top.
Yeah. They're very good. Yeah, they're very good. I think
cherries on top? Yes, cherries on top are always good. Now, you're talking about the channel lands. Yes, those are very good too. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Cherries that go on top, they don't have pits on them.
I think they're called maraschino cherries, and it's pretty bad that a fat guy like me knows maraschino cherries.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I'm an extra large.
Yep.
So, Dr. Katz, we've come to the end of the show. Share with us, proselytize with us some things, please.
Oh, in terms of like doing a plug? Yeah. So as you mentioned before, you can find me Dr. Katz11 on Twitter. Pretty active on there. I might start streaming soon, but I've been saying that for a while. Hopefully I'll actually start with Dr. Katz XI on Twitch. I'd like to plug my local GameStar, Jupiter Games, which is located in Binghamton, New York. It is downstate New York. We kind of call it upstate because we're upstate from New York City, but we're closer to Pennsylvania. Jupiter Games hosts a Friday night Modern event. They do EDH. If you're in the area, come and say hi.
There you go.
Sure.
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening. Like Dr. Katz says, he's going to try to play a MTG Ectoplasm gameplay coming soon. We just filmed the intro, the little spot to the title card for the show. We got that done. I'm playing more MTGO, so know that I'm getting better at it. I'm not going to say I'm really great at paper. Let's be honest. I'm going to be humble. I'm good. Okay. 20 years of experience. I better damn be good. But I'm learning MTGO. I want to make sure that I give the community what they deserve. A person who takes names and kicks ass. You know what I mean? So MTG Ectoplasm gameplay is coming soon. IRL, usually on Tuesdays, if I can get down to it. So, Dr. Katz, anything else you want to share with the spirit community before we end the show?
I think that's it. But thank you for having me, Dwight, and thank you to the Ravishing Renata as well for being our tech on the side.
There you go. So Ravishing, the Ravishing one, the one, the only. Can I have my march of Unholy Light?
Hold the fifth.
You plead the fifth. What? You're running for Supreme Court?
Maybe.
There you go.
What's going on here? I thought this was a magic podcast.
Not anymore.
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. Please don't forget to hit that follow, like, subscribe button. If you have any things that you want to see on the show, some things that you want me to talk about on the show, mtgectoplasm@gmail.com, or follow me on MTG Twitter. I would appreciate MTG Ectoplasm Twitter. Sorry. I would appreciate it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the next time you're kicking your opponent's ass, make sure they say, "That's bullshit."